Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. The Pittsburgh Steelers win 34-12, get themselves some revenge on the Bengals from a bad loss earlier this year. A lot of stuff happened in this game,
Yeah.
and I don't know, good, bad, some ugly, but either way, the Steelers pull out a big win, 34-12. Lee, what are your opening remarks and after this win?
I'm a little shocked because I did pick them to lose for sure. I think one of the bigger takeaways is that it was kind of like low scoring for a while. Like, it really
Mm-hmm.
wasn't too much until a couple like splash plays kind of changed the way the game went. But, uh, you know, um, it was a very like at first it didn't seem like it was defensive, but then it became a defensive game. Definitely after the first, after the how the game started off, and but I'm happy that they got the win. I I just I hope that they can keep my hopes up and continue because we've talked about it when they play like how they played, they can be a problem for the league, and
Mm-hmm.
it's can they keep this momentum? Can they keep doing this? So very good win by them. I just hope that they can continue where they're at with all this. I
Yeah, I
lost
think
you.
both of us thought it was going to be an offensive game, and both of us thought it was going to be an offensive game, I think, but instead it was. And after the first two drives, the Steelers went down 8 plays, 78 yards, got a touchdown. The Bengals came back 9 plays, 71 yards, got a touchdown to make it 7-6 in the first quarter. So it
Yeah,
looked that way, like it was going to be going that way for a while. Both those drives were about 5 minutes apiece. The
yeah.
Steelers' next drive was 9 plays, 27 yards. That took 5 minutes off the clock itself. So after the first quarter, 7-6 there, and then the team was just straight punts, going 8 plays, 35 yards, to make it or then 3 plays, 7 yards for the Steelers, 3 plays, 2 yards for the Bengals, 5 plays, 22 yards for the Steelers, 6 plays, 24 yards for the Bengals. However, the Steelers do get a field goal at the end of the half, going
I lost you. I don't know if you're there, but you're frozen now. I don't know if you can hear me. Your screen's frozen.
If you lose me, keep talking. But yeah, anyway, it's a halftime 10-6. You got me, or you know?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay. Yeah, it's 10-6 at the half. At that point, like you're saying, we were expecting a big time scoring game, but instead we got this a pretty low scoring first half, 10-6. The Bengals do come out first drive of the second half, make it 10-9, on a 7 play, 51-yard drive. Steelers back that up with a field goal drive of their own, going 15 plays, 61 yards to make it 13-9. And this is about where we find out that Aaron Rodgers has injured his wrist. He's out for the whole half here, but you get Mason Rudolph to come in, and he didn't play too bad in the second half. He was able to make some plays. He ended up with, I want to say, nine. What do we got? It is 12 of 16 for 127 and a touchdown. Not bad at all. Jalen Warren
No.
also got injured around this time here. He was at 10 touchdowns, 62 yards. So it was very interesting. Couple of moments there at the end of the half and the end of the
Yeah.
third quarter. What were you thinking at this point?
I was thinking that this game was kind of going to go the way the first, like how the first half went. It was going to go the same way that first Bengals game because it was still kind of. I think it was a little bit lower scoring. It wasn't as low as this game was. I mean, the Steelers did have a little bit of a lead going into the second half of that second game, and I kind of or that first game, and I thought that this was going to kind of play out the second way. I really did, just because of how low scoring it was and just how none of the offenses and defense, none of the offenses were moving. I mean, of course, some of the defenses were kind of stepping up and doing things on both sides for each team and things like that. But I kind of felt like it was going to be like it was for that first game, that first matchup the Steelers did have with the Bengals. So I was a little nervous. I mean, of course, it was only 10-6 at the half, but I was still pretty nervous that they could have, the game could have went a little differently. That's where I kind of thought it was going to be at the first half.
Internet issues here, but second half scoring, the defense really picks it up. They end up going and getting a fumble return for touchdown, an interception return for a touchdown, and they just blow the game open. Final score of 34-12. Also trickled in there was a touchdown, 12-play, 65-yard drive for the offense that ended with a where we at? A 5-yard touchdown pass to Kenneth Gainwell. Gainwell ends up with 2 touchdown receptions on the game.
Mm-hmm.
He played well. You could probably call him your offensive MVP for this game.
Yeah.
I got Tomlin lined up. Hopefully this works better than what's going on my side. So I'm going to put it up.
Of the efforts, I thought we certainly fought hard. We played hard. In some instances, we could have played smarter. And so there's individual and collective learning that needs to happen in some of those instances. But that's life. It's good to learn with the win. It was a big AFC North win for us. Aaron's obviously out with a wrist injury. It'll be evaluated in the morning. I'll give you guys more information there. Keyshawn Williams had a concussion. He's in the protocol. Jaylen Warren had an ankle. I think he was able to return. The rest is bumps and bruises associated with play. Can't say enough about the collective effort. It certainly wasn't ideal. We got challenged in a lot of ways, but you're going to get challenged in the National Football League on weekends. And it's just good to get a win and get back on the right side of things coming off of a poor performance and obviously a loss the last time we saw these guys. And so it's doubly satisfying from that perspective. Questions?
Was it Aaron's right wrist?
So no mention of Warren there, who didn't play much. I think they tried to sneak him back in at one point, but I don't remember him coming back in at the end there, right?
I don't remember seeing him either. I know that he looked like a knee, but hopefully he's all right. But I don't remember him coming back in. I just remember Gainwell, pretty much him and Caleb Johnson for the rest of the
Cincinnati held the ball for a good bit of time.
Yeah.
So that might be why that happened there. But the sound of that from him, I think Rodgers could probably miss some games. It's just my guess. I think they're expecting it to be a break or something along those lines, just the way he said it there. But I could just be projecting on that. But let's listen to some questions here.
And what can you say about Mason and Kenny Gainwell making a big play?
It was his left wrist, and Mason's proven in the past what he showed today. That's why we value him as a member of this collective and appreciative of his play. And certainly Kenny Gainwell made play after play for us, winning in the flat and so forth. But a lot of guys did. I thought our tight end run after with Muth and Darnell in particular was really good. You got to be able to throw short and run long sometimes, win conversions in that fashion, flip fields in that fashion. And so it was a lot of guys that contributed to that.
Yeah, Darnell Washington had 2 of the most fun plays to watch of the season so far. He ended up going 4 catches for 67 yards. His long was 31 yards, and it was a beautiful play where he pretty much bullied the entire Bengals secondary. He ends up getting 3 guys on their ass in one run. It was beautiful to watch. It was one of the best runs I've seen.
Yeah, it was a pretty good play for sure. I mean, just seeing him run and those guys that came, I mean, they're so tiny compared to him because he's such a big fucking guy, and he stiff arms the one guy, he runs the other guy over, knocks him out of bounds, and then the other guy tried to jump and punch him, and he fucking hits him too and knocks him onto the ground too, and just kind of goes out of bounds. So it was pretty fun to watch that nice little play. I mean, I think we talked about it. I think they need to get him the ball a lot more. He's such a big threat, and he's damn near bigger than everybody on the field, So I think, getting him the ball and being able to make some plays, I think would just be great, for this offense for sure. But he had, it was definitely one of it almost kind of reminded me of the Vance McDonald kind of stiff arming against the Buccaneers a couple of years ago, where he had an out route and he stiff armed the one guy and took it for 75 yards. I mean, of course, Washington didn't go 75, but just a nice little run like that to bully a couple guys, I think was just great to see.
Yeah, he mentioned Freiermuth. Freiermuth had 1 catch for 19 yards, and then DK had 5 catches for 49 yards there. Gainwell ended up 7 catches, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns. Overall, I thought that he mentioned the short passes on there too, and I think that is what the difference was. The Bengals defense is just not good. It was very frustrating in the first half that we weren't scoring more, but they found a way in the second half to get 24 points, even though a lot of that was on defense, but still got to give some credit to the offense there. But let's see what else we got from Tomlin.
Has James Pierre grown throughout the year, not just in front of what we saw with our own eyes today?
He's grown throughout the years. Yes. He's gotten better with each and every year he's been here, with his roles and his ability to respond to opportunity and so forth. There's a veteran high level of consistency that we're seeing right now. That's why I talked about him the way I talked about him, I think, on Tuesday.
What keyed the better defensive performance against Cincinnati this time?
I'm sorry?
What keyed it today? What was better today than?
We got stability at the safety position. Other than, Jalen not finishing the game, we got stability at the safety position.
Did you get any explanation of what happened with Jalen Ramsey? What led to him popping off against Jamar Chase?
I didn't need any. It doesn't matter. We gotta be smarter. We gotta stay in football games as individuals.
Yeah, Chase got the better of him in that exchange. Of course, they got separated the play before, and instead of being smart enough not to let the other guy get in your head, Ramsey does something stupid, gets ejected from the game. Fortunately, the game was pretty much over, and with the way that the Steelers were playing, so it didn't affect things long term. But it was a pretty dumb mistake to make there.
Yeah, I mean, again, and we've talked about it. The Steelers, they love to attract a lot of divas to the team and get a lot of people that, they always have to try to get the last word in on anything. And of course, seemed like he must have just got a little butthurt from the previous play, and he had to just let his voice and his actions be known that, I'm Jalen Ramsey and I play for the Steelers. It's just what it is, So that's just what it is with this team and some of the players on it. They just love to be just very outgoing with the way that they play these games sometimes, so it's just a little extra on them, but they got to be a little more smart and a little more disciplined when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Follow up to the safeties, Kyle Duggar. Can you talk about his effect on the defense? The interception that he made could be the changing point of the game.
He's a veteran player, man. That's been there, done that guy. That's why we coveted him at the trade deadline. He's been an asset to us, certainly, and increasingly so. I'm excited about moving forward with him as he continues to get solid in assignments, communication, and understanding.
Ramsey ejected? Was he ejected, Mike, or did you take him?
What's that?
Was he ejected?
He was ejected.
Okay, because I never heard you.
He was ejected. Yes, I'm sorry.
I don't know what that guy was watching. But Kyle Duggar's been pretty good since we've got him. I was not like, I kind of ignored it when it happened. I didn't make a big deal about the signing. We didn't talk about it too much, but he fell out of favor in New England, and New England's 8-2, 9-2 now. But it seems like he's still got some game to him. He's fit in pretty well. Gets the touchdown today. Can't complain about what he's done so far, right?
Yeah, I mean, he came in and stepped up, made a big play today, got a pick 6. So, he's definitely, I guess the Patriots didn't think there was much with him, but, he's seemed to have stepped up with, some of the injuries we've had in the secondary and being able to make some plays. And he came out, made a big play today, which was key to this game. I think that was kind of the turning point for sure.
Turning point,
And then
I agree.
also they had talked about Pierre earlier. He definitely had a big game as well. You know, he's
Yeah, he
definitely
had a great
stepped up
game.
since Elliott has gone down, you know, too. So, you know, those two guys definitely stepped up today on the defense and made some big key plays that helped, you know, move this team to a victory today.
Yeah, Pierre's been great every time they have to use him and roles he's been
Mm-hmm.
in. I was surprised he didn't make the team out of camp, but then he made it back to the roster pretty quick after
Yeah.
that. So they get what he's there, but I was a little worried about him not being on that roster at
Yeah.
first, but he's been a solid player for a while now for us.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron's injury designation was questionable. Could he have returned in the second half?
I don't have the answer to that, to be honest with you. I'll have more information next time we talk.
You think Mason Rudolph did? How did you feel like Mason Rudolph did?
As I mentioned, he's always delivered when called upon in the past. That's why we value him. His performance was consistent with what he's done in the past for us. And not that we take it for granted. We don't. We appreciate it.
Return to the sideline, or was he just staying in the locker room after his injury, Aaron Rodgers?
Again, I don't know. My attention was on the field and those that were on the field.
I'm getting distracted by that wet spot on Tomlin's hoodie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Is that sweat? What is that? Is that sweat?
I think that's sweat and nerves. You know, I think he was nervous about this game. A lot of anxiety.
Yeah. Can't see it on the other armpit, so maybe it's just his right armpit that gets a little sweaty when these games are going. But to the Aaron Rodgers injury, we talked about already. But Mason came in and the offense didn't miss a beat. You could argue the offense played better under him. Obviously, long term, I'm not a Mason guy, but he stepped up today for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he came in, made some plays. You know, he was, you know, he was the next guy up, like Mike Tomlin says, when something happens, when a guy goes down, and he came in and helped the offense continue to move. You know, granted, we didn't see, you know, we only saw him for a couple drives because the Bengals did have the ball for a good bit of that chunk of the second half. But you know, while he was out there, you know, he did get a touchdown scored for the team and was able to get them down to at least a field goal or two as well. You know, so, you know, he stepped up and did what he needed to do today for sure. I mean, again, like you said, he's not the long-term guy for sure, but when you need somebody to step in for an injury, he's definitely the guy to kind of come in and make a play here or there.
Yeah, and I think Will Howard came out this week and talked about Mason helping him a lot behind the scenes in practice and everything in the meeting rooms and stuff like that. He said both Rodgers and Mason are helping out, but Mason's been like a really hands-on with it and everything. So it's a good signing. In the end of the day, when they picked him up, and it's working the way that they want him to.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Do you do anything in the second half?
I'm sorry?
Do you do anything in the second half to kind of account for the fact that Mason hasn't played? Do you make things a little bit more cautious or careful?
No, Mason's played a lot of football in this league. We might lean to things that are more in his wheelhouse, but it wasn't because of lack of play.
Jamar Chase had a big day against you guys last time around. This day, 10 targets, 3 catches, 30 yards. He talked about how they knew what you guys were going to do last time around. What did you change up this time that might have gotten in the way of him having a good day?
I don't know that we changed anything of any significance. I just thought we were more solid today, to be honest with you.
Coach, your thoughts on game one?
Yeah, between Ramsey and Joey Porter Jr., it seemed a lot more personal today. They wanted to make a statement from the very beginning. They were in Porter was in his face all the time. Ends up Ramsey and Chase getting a big little scuffle there too. It seemed like they may have been taking this game personal after what happened last time around.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because Chase definitely torched us, you know, and had a very big game. And I just think that, you know, they wanted to, again, they wanted to make sure that he didn't have a game like that. Of course, like the announcers had talked about, it did get a little chippy out there for sure throughout the game. And of course, you know, Ramsey got ejected and things like that. But yeah, I think they wanted to make their presence known and not to let what happened last time. Again, you got to be a little more disciplined with some of the things, but they definitely played very well. I think with the move with Jalen Ramsey going to safety, I think has really changed the dynamic of the defense. I think,
Mhm.
came in as to be like the nickel guy, but now he's one of the free safeties, and I think that he's doing a very good job at the position.
Yeah, he's playing really well there. Hopefully he doesn't do some stupid shit like he did today to get himself
Yeah.
out of the play. But yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta. I mean, the player he is, you're gonna have this every once in a while, and that's why he's so good at what he does the other times, is because he has that
Mhm.
intensity. If you want to be nice, call it intensity
Yeah.
on the field there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is.
And I think he also made a tackle on kickoff. I value him as a football player first. We saw a lot of that, man, on his Philadelphia tape. He's good in a lot of areas, including special teams. And so we just respect what he brings to the table.
Exactly how Aaron got hurt or what happened?
I did not.
Yeah, with Gainwell, it's tough because we all want to see Warren out there. But now this is at least the second game where I can remember Gainwell being the best offensive player by far on the team. And it happened after the injury for the most part, really. But it talking up Warren shouldn't lead to hating on Gainwell, because Gainwell has been a solid player this year throughout everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have a guy that can come in and make some plays. Of course, like you said, you want to see Warren as that number one guy, but I mean, maybe he's better at some schemes that the defenses for other teams have, and Gainwell's been able to do something different, and be able to make more plays, and maybe that's what they're seeing and things like that. I'm again, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a coach and on that aspect and things like that, but it is it's good to see that if Warren's not being the main guy, that somebody else is able to step up and make plays, score some touchdowns, get some yards, positive results and things like that. So I'm glad to see that at least somewhere on the offensive side that there is, if one guy isn't, being the best player, the starter on the team, that somebody is stepping up to be able to make some plays to help this offense, be able to move and progress down the field, to be able to score touchdowns and put up points.
Mm-hmm.
A lot about Mason thus far, and this is not to compare him to Aaron in any way, but when you have a guy that's familiar with your system, has experience as a Steeler, as a coach, is there any little bit of calming effect when number two going in with his background?
It's no doubt.
Anyone else?
Mike, what do you say for the offense in general? I mean, you talk about having faith in the individual players, but having your starting quarterback and your starting running back on the sideline could cause a lot of other issues that didn't seem to prop up for you.
That's life in the big dance. You're going to be challenged in a lot of ways, as individuals, as collectives, or collectives within the larger collective. It's our job to adapt and improvise and do what's required to win.
Your defensive front was more effective against Flacco in terms of pressuring him than out in Cincinnati?
I just thought as a collective, whether it's front, secondary, linebackers, I just think we were more solid. I think we were more connected. I thought we communicated well. It's not necessarily about what it is that they do. It's about the quality of what we do. And I thought we were just above the line in so many of the intangible areas today that allowed us to play.
What can be said about Darnell Washington's performance today, especially that big run that he had where I think he went over like 3 Bengals?
It's been highly consistent. We're appreciative of him. We're appreciative of Spencer Anderson. That's why we introduced him with the starting lineup, to show respect to that.
Able to talk with Aaron after his injury, either off the field or at halftime?
I was.
Did he disclose anything?
He was excited about the win. I just talked to him. But that's all we talked about. We didn't talk about his injury. We talked about the significance of the win.
Anyone else?
How significant can you say this win is, considering with where you guys are in the division?
It's perspective. It feels good right now, but it's about what happens moving forward, and it always is. That's just the nature of this thing. It's sweet today. Tomorrow we go back to work. It's big business waiting on us next week.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
So there we go from Mike Tomlin. I agree with him from the standpoint of that. I thought this was a must win. They do pull out the win. They now sit at 6-4. That's pretty much a death blow for Cincinnati, I think. I don't think they're coming back into this race. And so it's pretty much a 2-team race at this point between the Steelers and the Ravens. The Ravens are currently playing the Bengals. Or not currently playing the Browns as we speak, sitting at 4-5. Bengals are at 3-7. Browns are at 2-7. The current score of their game, let me find it real quick. Browns are up 13-3 right now on the Ravens.
Wow.
So that'd be huge for the Steelers if they can pull that off, and they get a 2-game lead. It's still early; it's the second quarter. 7:43 left in the second. But yeah, it was a must win today. You got all the stats and everything for us here.
Yeah, I got it going. So yeah, definitely must win, and the Steelers did get the win again. Final score: Steelers 34 to the Bengals 12. Total yards: Bengals had 297 to the Steelers 343. Pass yards: Bengals had 192 to the Steelers 232. Rush yards were about the same. Bengals had 105. The Steelers had 111. Yards per play: Bengals had 4.7 to the Steelers 5.7 yards per play. First downs: Bengals had 17. The Steelers 22. Third down efficiency was about the same. Bengals were 7 for 15. The Steelers were 7 for 13. Fourth down efficiency: the Bengals were 0 for 1. The Steelers were 1 for 1. Total plays: the Bengals had 63 to the Steelers 60. Each team had 1 sack. Each team had 3 punts. Penalty yards were about the same. This was kind of a big thing, and I think it was the drive where Aaron Rodgers actually got hurt, like that last drive of the second half. A lot of the penalties that came in. Penalties: Bengals 8 penalties for 67 yards to the Steelers 8 penalties for 76 yards. The Steelers did not have any turnovers. The Bengals did fumble the ball, and the Bengals did throw an interception, which both were returned for a touchdown by the Steelers defense. And the time of possession, almost even. Bengals 29 minutes and 55 seconds to the Steelers 30 minutes and 5 seconds. So those are your stats for the Steelers versus Bengals. What's interesting to me is the Steelers pretty much almost led in every statistical category except for pretty much like the total plays pretty much. I mean, they did have a little bit more yards on penalties than the Bengals, and of course the sacks and punts were even. But this is like one of the first games where I can actually like talk and say that the Steelers, when it came to stats and statistics for the game, the Steelers pretty much had majority of the stats going into this game to being able to be up above the other team. Steelers did end up getting a opening drive touchdown, which is something we haven't seen as much, but they still are looking for scoring more than 7 points in the first quarter. Hopefully that comes soon. It's not something we've seen in a while, but the Steelers defense, again, they stepped up. Fumble recovery for a touchdown, interception taken back for a touchdown as well. Penalties is something that they're going to need to address. There hasn't been too big of a problem this year, but they were definitely a little bit undisciplined in this game for sure, especially with the Ramsey ejection and things like that. Of course, there's always going to be chippiness and, a lot of words and things, pushing and shoving and things like that's going to happen. It's just the name of the game and things like that. But I got to hand it to the Steelers. They came out and played. They needed to win this game. Like you said, this was must win. And just to see them on the positive side of the stats against the team that they're playing against, to be able to be kind of a little bit better than they were, which is what we haven't seen in a while, is actually pretty well for them to do this game here.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of stuff. The one thing the red zone attempts, 0 for 2 for the Bengals. That's very helpful. The defense just stepped up throughout the game. They other thing you can look at is the yards per pass. They were 4.7 compared to the Steelers 7.3. So even though the yardage was kind of close with 192 232, the way both teams had to go about it was a lot different. Both teams only gave up a sack apiece. I think early on they mentioned that Rodgers was getting the most time to throw he's gotten all year early on.
Yeah,
and that just comes down. It's just The Bengals aren't good on defense.
Yeah.
That's what made that loss so bad. And at the time of the loss, like there was so much like momentum, I think, for the Steelers before then too. That it just was a weird time, weird loss. The
Yeah.
way Tomlin was talking up Flacco so much, I still think that that had to have some kind of like play and effect in it. But they were coming off 2 straight wins going into that game before they lost, and that it was weird. Like
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
bad game.
Yeah.
Thursday night too, we were talking about, but they are able to get the revenge. Next up for them is the Chicago Bears, who sit at 7-3 after beating the Vikings this week on a last minute or last second field goal. It's going into the season. This didn't seem like a test, but this is going to be a test going into Chicago 1:00 next Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be a tough game. The Bears had a slow start with a new coach, but they seem to have kind of found their rhythm and have kind of been able to make a little bit of a run for themselves right now. Of course, the Lions haven't played yet tonight, but they are sitting atop of the division right now, like you said, at 7-3. So it is going to be a challenge next week. They are going to be in Chicago. So it's going to be again, it's going to be a tough game. The Steelers have a tough rest, a schedule, tough schedule the rest of the way. So
Yeah.
it's going to be tough for them. But I want to see them win. I want to see them not just have a winning season. I want to see them be able to do something and be a threat to the NFL. And if they can do this, like we've talked about, if they can play like this and make the turnovers, get extra scores and, keep their foot on the pedal, like they did today in this Bengals game, then they can be a problem for the rest of the NFL. They just have to be consistent with this. So, we will see what happens. We'll definitely talk about that Bears game later in the week, for sure. So looking forward to that.
Mhm.
But they had a good game. I doubted them, but they pulled it off. So I'm happy they got the victory today.
Yeah, I was on the win. I just they're not going to get swept by this Bengals team, and they came out here they took care of business. But overall, good win, good Sunday win for us, Lee. I don't have much else. I'm ready to sign off if you are.
I am. I'll see ya.
All righty, I'll see you.
Yeah.